What's going on, Ghosts and Ghouls? It's Montavious back with the Intercrypt, and today we are joined by a legend in his own right, Mr. Joe Lam. Man, how are you?
And Tavius, I'm great. Thanks for having me on
Awesome.
here.
Yes, sir. No, I'm glad that we could definitely get you on. So just for the people who's going to be viewing this a little bit later today, for people who may not know exactly who you are and what you do, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, my first love is filmmaking. Ever since I was 16, and I saw a movie called Citizen Kane that my teacher showed me in class, and I was just blown away. And ever since then, I really wanted to become a movie director, not anything else. And I just spent a lot of years just making short films, trying to hone my craft, writing screenplays, and then having a video production business, which was like promos, documentaries, um, commercials, things like that. And
Mhm.
and I could have made a my first feature film like a while ago, like 10 years ago, but I felt like I wasn't ready yet. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it would have been like just not that good. And my greatest fear, actually, Montavious, believe it or not, my greatest fear is making a B movie. Weird as it sounds, it's not dying, it's not public speaking, it's just, that's it, So I spent all this time honing my craft and to deliver this first movie to audiences and so far with test screenings, people have rated it 7 out of 10, and hopefully we're going to do an additional ending for it to hopefully bring it up to an 8 at the very least. So that's the goal. Yeah.
Nice. And and it speaks to who you are as a person and as a filmmaker, that you want to take the time to hone in on your craft and actually learn the skills that it takes. Because I feel like anybody can make a movie, especially in today's world, but to really do it well and do it right, it is amazing to hear that, that you're actually you care about what you produce and what you put out there, man. So kudos to you and your team. So kind of just going back a little bit, looking at some of your stuff. So you are an award-winning director and producer. You also own your own Shining Light Pictures that you founded back in 2006. So how has that been? Having your own companies, and I mean, you're a mogul too. You have Airbnbs and all this stuff. So how is all that and making films? Like, how do you have the time?
Well, the great thing about doing real estate investing is, the Airbnbs, they really help free up my time so I can work on the creative projects. If I had a 9 to 5 job, which
Mm,
I haven't had a 9 to 5 for, I don't know, like it's been like 12 years. Because I had an e-commerce business at one point, shut that down with COVID. And the
mm,
real estate investing, the Airbnbs, that is, it's kind of like whether I'm awake, asleep, eating, going on vacation, the money keeps coming in.
that passive income.
I structured it and automated certain systems so that would allow me to keep having cash flow coming in. So again, I can do all the creative things and like when we went and filmed the fetus, like I was gone for a whole month out there in Pennsylvania. You know, with a 9 to 5 job, forget it. You'd have to quit and then film it and then come back and find another job, right? It's like
Yeah.
so that's the beauty of that, and I teach real estate investing as well with another education company. But yes, just speaking of what you were saying, like I care so much about the audience experience. To me, it's like 95% of making a film is for an audience.
Mm,
5% is for me. Like I'm going to be happy no matter what, whether it's good or it's bad. But to me, the intention is to make the experience like a roller coaster ride for the audience.
mm.
And and that's what happened with my last film. I crowdfunded my last film, and we won 56 awards. And that was when I knew I was like, okay, now I'm ready. Finally, I'm ready for this.
And your last film, I want to say, I believe, was the one where you won the 56 awards. Just so people can know, was Fugitive Zero, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, for the people who's going to be viewing Fugitive Zero, go check it out. It is actually a short. Can people go check that out on YouTube? Is that still floating around?
Oh, they can go to the website, fugitivezero.com.
Okay.
And that was originally intended to be a short film to raise money for the feature film.
Hmm.
And but then when I met this producer and I sent him the film, I was at Virtual Can during the COVID,
Hmm.
and the 10th producer I sent it to was like, oh, this is great, like, but I can't back you for a big action thriller movie that would be like $3 to $5 million budget. Let's do this low budget horror movie for like 500,000. And honestly, I read the script that he had a writer wrote, and I was like, well, this is not really for me. Can I write something and we'll, if it works, and we can develop it. And I wrote something similar to the Fetus. It wasn't quite there yet. And then he was like, he signed on and we developed it. Took a whole year, like literally 45 drafts over 1 year to shape the Fetus into what it became. And yeah, and it was part of it was like me sending it out to people, getting feedback, refining it and honing in. I'm all about testing to make sure
Mm.
that they're landing.
Nice, man. And so speaking of the Fetus, I mean, you're directing this, you were the writer. I mean, so you have so much on this project. So how was it working with Terrifier 2 star Lauren LaVera? Like how was it seeing her in a different element?
What's interesting is because when she came on, this was before Terrifier 2 hit.
Oh,
And so
okay.
there were 7,000 actresses that went out for the role for this. And she stood out head and shoulders above everybody. And I was just like, there's no question. I'm like, she's Alessa in this movie. So, and then just working with her, yeah. I mean, my approach is when I give direction, it's more like the Clint Eastwood approach, where he
Mhm.
just says, okay, you take ownership of the character. We're gonna set the environment for you, and we're gonna move fast. I don't move as fast as Mr. Eastwood because he'll give there's one take, and only if there's an issue, then he'll go to a second or third take. I
Mhm.
gave everybody around 5 takes, 5 or 6 takes. But she would just nail it every single time because it's kind of like when the cameras roll, she's the character there, and there's like everything else disappears. There's just very little guidance except for some encouragement here and there, after the fact. But yeah, I could take one or take three or five, and like they would all work.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. And then you have Bill Moseley, who plays essentially her father, Maddox. So how was working with Bill Moseley? Like, I mean, the guy is renowned in the horror community. So how was that?
Absolute pro. I mean, 40 years in the business, going back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and yeah, we got him that he was my top three choice in this. And I was just like, when we got him, I was like, okay, great. We'll whoever we cast this, it doesn't matter. We got him. We're going to cast around him,
Mhm.
because he has that history, um, and unless we got like the other actors where they were like started young and they're more recognizable. But a lot of times when you're hiring younger actors, that's not the case because they haven't had the time to build up their career to a certain
Mhm.
level with a certain fan base, So, and of course, we lucked out when Terrifier 2 hit and Lauren was already in our movie, But Bill was absolute joy to work with. He was on set for 2 weeks out of the 3 weeks that we filmed in Pennsylvania, and just you know he fit right in. He does his thing. I asked him to grow a beard. He agreed to it. you know and he had like this music video that he was not supposed to have a beard like a few weeks before we filmed, and he had to
Mhm.
tell the director, I'm sorry, I gotta wear a beard for your music video because I've got this thing going on with the Fetus, that I've agreed to have a beard, and that look is so iconic to me for him.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, but he
Totally.
was, he was great. I love working with him, and would love to do a sequel with him as well. If things work out.
Oh, I was going to say, so we kind of got some insight. So maybe, well, we're already going to speak it into existence, right? So the Fetus is going to do very well, and so we could possibly looking at Fetus 2.
And it depends. It depends if the cast wants to come back on. It depends on if we're able to have a return for our investors. That's important, because
Sure.
this is a business, right? And,
Mhm.
and speaking of which, I'm even doing merchandise where we're going to be selling things like this. Like this is the Fetus condoms.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, literally, it's legit, FDA approved. We got silicone oil that's FDA approved. Yeah, and I will send you some when we have them in. So right now we're getting the actual condoms being delivered, but I got the boxes that came in that are printed. And then we're
That,
going to be doing things like soaps as well. We'll have, they'll say, like the Fetus soaps, the tagline "Cleanse Evil,"
mhm.
and a bunch of other things. And again, because we're doing a crowdfunding campaign, that helps us, that forces us to create ancillary products like behind the scenes photo books, behind the scenes videos, and all these things that we're going to be able to provide for merchandise.
See, and that's awesome that you're doing that for fans too, because we can, get a piece of merchandise that will sit in our collections. So it's awesome that you're taking that into consideration. So just speaking about a little bit more of the casting, I did notice you have two particular twin brothers that just that are seeing some success for their movie Diced. So can you tell us a little bit about working with Jeremy and Nathan?
I call them the Rudd brothers, Jeremy and
Yeah,
Nathan.
the Red Brothers.
That's their last name, Jeremy and Nathan Rudd, and they've been terrific. They came on early on, and they're sharing the insights of what they're doing marketing Diced. And I actually
Mm.
helped them with Dice in terms of when Jeremy went to edit. It was his first time editing, so I said, okay, you get this program, watch these videos on it, export in this resolution and all that to kind of help him along the way. And I didn't want any credit for it. I was just helping him out, and I'm so glad to see that their marketing efforts are working for Diced. They got a lot of traction. I think they probably like over 1 million views it combined
Mhm.
in all the platforms that they're generating. So they're very smart and savvy about that, and they've got a deal for a sequel already as well on the table. I'm not going to speak about where the deal came from or this and that. I just know that there's other production companies that have been offering them some deals.
See, and that's amazing, and that's what I love, and I would love to get your insight on that too. When it comes to like the indie film community, it feels like it's a tight knit group, and there's not a lot of gatekeeping. When people are successful in something or they see passion in what you're doing, like yourself, you lend a hand, and you don't want any credit. You just want to see somebody succeed. So, what does indie filmmaking mean to you? Over just kind of what I just said, like, what does it mean to you as far as like personally?
Personally, I think there's a certain purity to it
Mm,
where there's no outside influence. There's no executives or studios saying, making demands of the story has to be this way. You have to include these type of actors. You have to, hire like these crew from over here. You have to have this sponsor come in from a big brand that you have to incorporate. It's there's such a purity to it that it is, to me, is the filmmaker's heart is just being thrust onto this medium of this story, and it goes directly to the audience. There's nothing in between that's tampering with it. There I have final cut. There is nobody that can say, Joe, you have to cut out this and that. And
mhm.
only ones that tell me what to cut out are really the audience when I do test screenings. And they're the ones that are like, I don't get this over here. If you cut it out, it would make the story so much better. And I listen to that. So I'm getting direct feedback from the audience. So that's, again, it goes back to me. It's the purity of the filmmaker and the audience relationship.
Nice, man. And that's so refreshing to hear. So, what can the fans out there expect from the fetus? Like, what are we in store for?
Well, I have to say, I'm a big fan of meaningful stories, like having characters that you can really follow and you care about, not just having a group of, kids that just get slaughtered. Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't do anything for me. Uh, I've seen that so many times. So I took the time to really, craft these characters in a way where you want to be on this journey. You want to know what happens to them from beginning to end. And not only that, having a bit of a social, um, message in there with the pro-choice, the pro-life debate, and this woman, the girlfriend who's going through something that is really dangerous, potentially dangerous to her. It's not a normal fetus in this
Yeah.
in this. It's something that can harm her, can harm other people, and it's kind of like, well, what would you do in this situation? You know? So yeah, and that's what I think about it.
Nice. That's amazing, man. So kind of just wrapping up here. Where can fans go and stay connected with you and with the project, The Fetus?
Yeah, I mean, our social media, Instagram is the Fetus Film, and Facebook is the same. It's facebook.com/, the Fetus Film. Our website is the Fetus Film. You can go on there and you can subscribe, so you can find out notifications and when our crowdfunding campaign is going to launch. Uh, and we're not bombarding people with like stuff with newsletters. It's not at all, you know. So
Mm.
and so those are the main ways. And you know, anyone can reach out to me. You could DM me and just, you know, ask questions about it. Do it through the website, Instagram, Facebook. And I respond. I respond to everything. You know, I don't use a bot or an AI. It's me doing it, you know. So
For sure, man. And sorry, I meant to ask you this question earlier. So who has been some of your inspirations as far as like directors go, and like who do you kind of try to take tips from when it comes to, you know, producing and making your films?
oh, number one is James Cameron.
Okay.
You know, he takes me on a journey every, you know, in every story that he tells. There is the, you know, Spielberg, of course. There's Scorsese. There's some of the past generations, which are Ingmar Bergman, um, Kurosawa, you know, Billy Wilder, you know. So
Okay.
me, I like that the full story, the full journey of characters. I'm not so much into like the avant-garde stuff, you know, or things that like focus more heavily on like the cinematography, you know, or the mood. I'm about the characters. I'm like, I want to care about them. I want to see if I want to root for them, that for them to succeed. I want to have a powerful adversary that they can go against. You know, it's that struggle. It's that David and Goliath struggle that I'm all about. You know, and so and I mean, so far based on the test screenings, we're getting good results. Like I said, 7 out of 10 for the feedback. We want to bring it to an 8 with this new ending that we plan to film. Um, and that's yeah, that's the direction we're going. So.
Nice, man. Again, I'm a fan. I cannot wait to see this film. Hopefully this fall. I cannot just wait to just take this roller coaster ride that you provided for us, man. So, anything you want to say out there to your fans or to future fans of The Fetus?
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, if you're the type that is honestly is tired of the remakes, the sequels of these horror movie classics that a lot of times I have trouble watching. I try watching and I'm just like, oh my God, oh, what's happening here? It's not to say anything bad of the filmmakers, you know, because they're given these opportunities to make these films, you know, but I am the type that's like I crave for originality. I crave for the newness, the fresh take on the genre, ways to elevate the genres, things we haven't seen before. I made this film because I felt like there was something that I hadn't seen in horror before that I wanted to showcase and bring to an audience. You know, so if you're in to your fans, if you're in the camp of wanting originality, wanting something new, something fresh that still works within the horror genre, then please support the Fetus, or if not, support other filmmakers who are striving for this originality and this freshness, and the goal to elevate this genre to the next level.
Nice, beautifully said. And Mr. Joe, that is it for today. Again, I appreciate you for coming on and taking time out your busy schedule, man. I really do appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see the success from The Fetus.
Thank you, Montavious. This has been a terrific interview. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.